Hey guys, welcome back to the Teacher's Trek. My name is Lauren, and today I'm going to be doing the first year teaching tag. This was created by Teach Like a Girl. I love her channel. She's an inspiring teacher, and if you haven't yet checked her channel out, go ahead and do that because her videos are amazing. So I'm going to keep this video kind of short and to the point. There's not too many questions. So I want to go ahead and get started with the first one. So that asks, what was your worst moment in your first year of teaching? So my first year of teaching, it went very well. I didn't have too many problems, but I did a long-term sub at a different school than what I teach in now. And I just had a really terrible class. It was full of a lot of just really rowdy students, and I had one student in particular who had some sort of behavior problems. I'm not really too sure exactly, because after this incident he got switched out of my class, so I really don't know much about him. But basically, like in the first 3 weeks of school, this one kid in particular just kind of kept aggravating other people around him. Nothing I did would ever make him like calm down. I had to send him out of class a few times because of it, but there was this one day where I don't know if just something kind of clicked in his mind at the end of class, but the bell was about to ring and he was confronting this kid next to him that had apparently asked him to just be quiet so that I could finish teaching the lesson. And at that point I was already flustered just because the class had just got out of control at that point. So this kid decides to get up, make some more remarks to the other kid that was just trying to learn, and he flips his desk in the middle of the classroom, gets up, and then just walks out. And then after that the bell rang. So yeah, I ended up having a panic attack. At that point I thought that he was going to end up hurting somebody, that there would be a fight that would break out in my classroom, and this was in my first 3 weeks. So at that point, I was very emotional about it. I really did not know how to handle dealing with a fight in my class. So the bell rang, all my students just kind of left with this look on their face, like in disbelief of what had just happened. I go out into the hallway trying to find my mentor teacher, and eventually I actually found the assistant principal, and I go up to him sobbing, like breathing really hard. I could not get out any words, and I just felt like a total loser just coming up and crying to this principal. So that was probably my lowest point. It got better from there. I had an amazing first year after that, but just that one moment, I just felt like I had no power to do anything to stop the child. So yeah, teaching high school is tough when you have to deal with situations like that. Alright, so that was my lowest point. Number 2 asks, what was my best moment in my first year? So I had a lot of really amazing moments with my students. I guess my best moment was towards the end of this school year. I just felt like my classes kind of came together as a whole and formed this community where everyone was just really friendly and amazing and supportive of each other. I tried to do a lot of activities where my students could collaborate and work together, and I feel like at the end of the school year they formed this community that was just amazing to see. Number 3 asks, what is my biggest regret from my first year? And for this question, I really think that my biggest regret would be not really opening up to my students until the end of the school year. I know people tell you to kind of put on this really stern face in the first few weeks of school, and I definitely did that. And I don't know, I felt like I kind of was a little bit too distant from my students at times, and I didn't really show my true personality to them until like the very last couple months of school. And that's really when I saw a lot of like connections with me and my students. So next year, I am going to be the teacher that is going to be stern and implementing the rules, but I'm also going to let my personality shine through as well. Number 4 asks, what is something that I wish I knew before I started teaching? Honestly, I feel like I went into my first year of teaching pretty prepared, but I would say that I was not prepared to deal with students with special needs in my class and ESL students. I wasn't as prepared as I thought I was to deal with how to help progress the students' learning in this situation. In my internship, I didn't really have many students that were ESL. I had one, I think. One student, and I tried really hard to get her engaged and worked with the ESL teacher there. But then this year, my first year teaching, I had some students with autism, and I really had no idea what kind of strategies worked well to get them more engaged in the classroom. So I wish I had a little bit more experience with working with students with special needs. So that's one thing I wish I had more experience with, but that's really something that you just gotta learn as you go. I feel you can't learn everything before you start teaching. I feel like you just need to go in and just learn as you go. Number 5 asked me, what advice would I give to a first year teacher? So advice I would give to a first year teacher would be to not try and do everything perfect. I really tried to do that this year, and within the first couple months, I quickly realized that there's no way that I could ever do everything perfectly. It just is not going to happen. There just are so many other things you need to be worrying about, that worrying about what your worksheets look like or what your decor looks like is not going to be as important as just really teaching the kids. Just know that you're not going to be prepared for everything. You can try, but you will not be prepared for everything. There's going to be something that's going to be thrown at you that's going to kind of go over your head. So my advice is to just go in with an open mind and just do what your passion is to teach those kids, and you will have an amazing experience. That's exactly how it worked for me. So I hope the same works for you if you're going into your first year as well. So thank you, Teach Like a Girl, for giving us this teaching tag. It's going to be really fun to look back at other teachers' YouTube videos on the tag as well. And thanks again for creating it. I hope you guys have gotten a little bit more insight about me, about what first year teaching will look like, and good luck to you guys. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. I'm going to be putting out a lot of really good tips for people who are going to be going into their first year of teaching. I hope to see you guys here, and I'll see you next time.